think we're live, Annie. I think I pushed all buttons.
Good morning, everyone. There's some $1 million shortbread at Christina's desk made by Annie if anyone wants to come over to admin and indulge. Yeah, Annie, go ahead with roll.
All right. Looks like online we have Allison French, Cheryl Hartman, Chet Krauser, Christina Dewar, Danica Nelson, Emmy Bristow, Heidi West again, Ken Marshall, Martin Kidston, MCAT, Melissa Fisher, Shane Stack. And in 206, we have Commissioner Strohmeyer and Commissioner Bureau, Don Hart, Chris Lonsberry, Annie Cathy, Karen Hughes, and Carrie Powers.
Thanks, Annie. Is there any public comment on items not on the agenda? Okay, how about our consent agenda? Anything that needs to be pulled out?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Way to go, Clinton bylaws. Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
On to action items. Karen.
Hi. So as part of the Swift Decay Master Plan, the city and county had talked a lot about the complex challenges related to Grant Creek and the need for restoration of that creek. That was also part of the build grant. And strategy 2.2 of that plan was actually to do Grant Creek restoration. And it has a number of action items. In order to implement that strategy, Clark Fork Coalition and other partners have come together as part of the Grant Creek Working Group to develop a strategy for how to proceed with restoration, and developed a memorandum of agreement between the county, the city, the Conservation District, and the Clark Fork Coalition to move ahead with implementation of that strategy. So the action before you today is to consider and approve the signing of the memorandum of agreement with these entities and proceed ahead with restoration work for Grant Creek.
Thank you. Add anything?
No, thank you very much to the commissioners for considering this.
May I get your name just for roll call, please?
My name is Will McDowell.
Thank you.
And I work for the Clark Fork Coalition.
For anyone out there who thinks that we're ignoring or forgotten or neglecting Grant Creek,
Here it is.
it's not true. Oh,
Any one more
Yeah.
comment on it? Okay, I move that we approve the MOA.
second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Oh, sorry.
Annie will get the master one that's being signed. Because I think there's one that's already underway being signed.
Actually not, but we will have a master. It's been approved by the Conservation District, but I don't think they have their signatures on the master.
So we can start them out.
You
Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what document needs to actually be signed.
You let me know and I'll roll with it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So commissioners, a really short resolution. Just as you know, you adopted impact fees back in May of this last year of 2023. We need a little bit longer timeline than we thought originally in order to get the implementation done. We've been working with the city on the interlocal agreement for the collection of those fees, as well as on our side on getting ready for that. And so we are asking to push back the date that we start collecting those from January 1st to February 1st, just to make sure that we can accomplish that and have everything in place, which we do not for January 1st. So it's just a short resolution updating the start date, no other changes to the impact fees from when they were adopted, just pushing the start date back by a month.
Oh, I'm so glad someone's tracking these details.
Thank you.
Karen is largely tracking the details. I'm tracking some version of the larger picture, but not.
I just thought that was just happening.
It has been happening.
As it turns out, making it happen is a little harder than anticipated.
And there's more things, and the comm staff is helping it. Everybody's, yeah,
Yeah, thank
we're
you.
getting there, but we need a little bit longer runway than we thought. So
I move that we approve the resolution.
Second, any further discussion? Oh, Chet, did you want to add anything to impact fees? Okay.
Chet has the next two items, so he's getting ready.
You're ready. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
It's nicely framed in the middle of the screen.
It is.
It's like Hollywood Squares, only. If only one contestant.
Are you ready for the next item?
Yes.
Yes.
All
Dave's
right.
on the edge of his seat.
Edge of his seat. So this item is for a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. This is to be a cooperating agency in their process, the environmental impact process for the Bitterroot Recovery Zone and grizzly bear populations. So this is essentially using the expertise that the county has and the things that we contribute in our role as a government agency, and sharing that with other agencies and entities involved in this particular project. So we'll be engaged in a number of those discussions leading up to the production of environmental impact statements and other considerations that the Fish and Wildlife Service will use as they undertake their process. So this is kind of a formality, just documents us through this agreement as a participant in that cooperating agency process. And then we'll keep you updated as we move through that, and we'll also be a part of the broader public process that the Fish and Wildlife Services will be undertaking.
I misread the agenda. It was number 4 that I thought Dave was on the edge of his seat.
Oh, well,
But maybe this one.
I've been on the edge of my seat for all of these items.
All of them, okay.
Yeah, they're so good.
I'll make sure I see him sliding forward.
Any discussion or questions about this?
That we approve the MOU.
Second. Again, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Okay, so now move to the edge of your seat, Dave.
Yes.
We have the next one. This is another community council bylaw amendment. There are some similarities to what the Clinton bylaws had, but there are a couple of pieces here. There were 4 requests total from Lowell Community Council for amendments to their bylaws. 2 of those we have recommended accepting, and then there's 2 of those that we recommend not moving forward with for incorporation in their bylaws. Those 2 that we did not recommend incorporation in their bylaws have to do with attendance of council members, and then some discussions amongst the council as to how to address that particular situation. The other one has to do with an elector forum in the future for either appointments or election of future seats. In both of those cases, there's a need to consider the guidance of state law, and also some potential lack of clarity in state law as to exactly how it relates to the authorities that the council and or the commission may have in that regard. And so in consultation with the county attorney's office, decided it wouldn't be appropriate to include those in the final version of the bylaws. So the information there has been put into a letter sent to the community council even ahead of this meeting to invite them to be a part of this conversation if they were interested in doing so. And other than that, it's the same type of approval process that you just did on the consent agenda for the Clinton Community Council bylaws.
John, do you have anything to add?
Not really.
Okay.
No, the provisions just didn't seem entirely appropriate to include in the bylaws.
Agree.
Happy to keep them clean.
I move that we approve the Lolo Community Council bylaws with amendments.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, correspondence.
So commissioners, the first, we're just noticing letters that you signed last week where we did not have an admin on Thursday. The first of those was your nomination to the Flathead Water Management Board. As folks might recall, that task force was set up and Governor Gianforte had solicited nominations about 2 years ago. Those terms have expired, and so they are again soliciting nominations. So we're putting forward a name. It has to be a name of somebody who lives inside the reservation boundaries. And so you have that. And then the second letter, as folks have probably read in the newspaper, Governor Gianforte has requested or is putting together a task force around property taxes. And so it's a request to appoint Commissioner Slotnick to that for the governor's consideration, given his work in the property tax. So that's what those two letters.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. You bet. And then the other, yeah, I'd say
Sorry.
other two, I'm not sure if we have, maybe, I think I saw you, Heidi and some other folks on, I'm guessing they're on for these, so.
Yeah, the first one is Heidi. And she's on.
I'm here. So I don't know if Garrick's on. I can talk about both of them if that's helpful. So this is just a follow up from the item that we brought to you last week. One is I guess a recommendation for funding for the $310,000 grant from the CDBG RLF fund for NeighborWorks Montana in support of purchasing a mobile home park in Lolo. And then the second item is a letter of support for a $100,000 loan from Missoula County's Housing Innovation Fund, also in support of that same purchase. And so these are letters that they can attach to their to provide to other funders, basically, for their financing package. And then we'll bring back agreements for these early next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I was going to say, and just as for folks, as a reminder, this is a cooperative purchase of that property that is currently a mobile home park, which would turn it into a co-op, basically where the folks get to own collectively the land that the trailers that they currently own sit on in the Lolo area. So it has to turn some folks into permanent, some things that are into more permanent affordable housing, which is great.
So, well, are we concerned? We're not concerned. Obviously, Heidi's probably taking care of it. We're not concerned about this happening this year, or is it happening in 24? Or
I don't know if Heidi's still on. I'm not sure what the
I'm still
timeline
on.
is, so, yeah.
I believe the closing is scheduled for February 5th, so it is happening next year.
okay.
Yeah. So we have a ways. So we'll be back in front of you with actual agreements for both of these funding sources. Our goal is to be back, I believe, the third week of January. So I actually have a calendar, but I don't have it pulled up right now of what the exact date is. I think the 24th of January.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I misremembered. Thank you. That seems to be it.
That is.
Have a great holiday season, everyone.
Thank you.
Is this our last one?
Oh,
we've got
Thursday.
Okay.
We have an app.
Okay.
So one more.
False alarm.
Do we have a public meeting on Thursday?
No
No.
public meeting,
Okay.
just the admin meeting.
Okay.